The winds of conflict are howling across the Indo-Pacific. A new front line is emerging, not in the South China Sea, but further north. The northernmost Philippine province of Batanes is rapidly transforming. Once a quiet archipelago, it's now at the epicenter of a superpower rivalry. The US and the Philippines are fortifying these islands, turning them into a strategic asset. This is a direct response to China's growing assertiveness over Taiwan. The stage is being set for a potential confrontation. Batanes, just over 100 miles from Taiwan, has become indispensable. The Philippines, under President Marcos Jr., is pivoting back to its US alliance. Manila is embracing a more assertive foreign policy, recognizing the region's interconnected security. The construction of new ports, expanded airstrips, and joint military drills signal a new reality. These islands are no longer just a tourist destination, they're a forward operating base in the making. Batanes is now a listening post, a staging ground, and a potential choke point against China in the Luzon Strait. This realignment is forcing nations across the region to reconsider their positions. For the Ivatan people, this transformation is both promise and peril. New infrastructure brings jobs and better connections, but also places the Philippines in China's crosshairs. Hosting American forces raises the stakes in any Taiwan conflict. The once peaceful islands now symbolize the Philippines' delicate balancing act. It's a nation caught between a rising superpower neighbor and a long-standing ally. Navigating these treacherous currents, the Philippines stands at the heart of a new Cold War. The world's eyes are now on Batanes. Its fate could shape the future of the Indo-Pacific. Why Batanes? Geography is destiny. The Batanes Islands sit like pearls across the Luzon Strait, less than 200 kilometers from Taiwan. This proximity makes Batanes a natural forward position. Any conflict over Taiwan would spill into this maritime corridor. Control of Batanes means control over the northern approaches to the Philippines, and a vantage point for monitoring Chinese movements. For the US and its allies, the islands could host intelligence, surveillance, and mobile missile systems. These assets could deny China easy access to the Pacific and complicate any invasion plan against Taiwan. Batanes acts as an unsinkable aircraft carrier in one of the world's most contested waterways. The Luzon Strait is a major artery for global trade and a key route for China's navy. By strengthening Batanes, the Philippines and US can better monitor and deter Chinese activity. For the armed forces of the Philippines, Batanes is the northern gate. Securing it is a matter of national pride and duty. The rising threat of regional conflict has forced a strategic re-evaluation. The defense of Batanes is now integral to the defense of the entire nation. If the northern gate is left unguarded, the whole archipelago is vulnerable. The Philippines is no longer focused solely on the South China Sea. Batanes is now the front line. Its defense is the defense of Luzon and the entire country. The stakes have never been higher. The world is watching. The annual Balikatan exercises have shifted north, transforming the US-Philippines alliance. Once focused on counter-terrorism in the South China Sea, the drills now take place in Batanes and northern Luzon. US and Filipino Marines storm beaches, conduct live-fire exercises, and deploy advanced weapons facing the Taiwan Strait. These are not standard drills, they're rehearsals for high-end conflict, the goal-perfect joint defense of the Philippines' northernmost territories. Interoperability is key. Forces learn to fight together and deploy rapidly in crisis. The choice of location sends a clear message to China. Any move in the Taiwan Strait will be contested. US presence, even for training, acts as a powerful deterrent. The alliance is revitalized, giving the Philippines valuable experience with modern tactics and technology. For the US, it's access to critical Indo-Pacific locations. These war games forge a stronger, more focused alliance. The Philippines is no longer a bystander, it's an active participant in regional security. The new front line is set. Shoulder to shoulder, the alliance stands ready. Beyond exercises, Batanes is undergoing a permanent transformation. The Philippines, with US support, is building dual-use infrastructure, ports, runways, and logistics hubs. These projects serve civilians and the military alike. Expanded ports welcome tourists and naval vessels. Upgraded runways handle commercial and military planes. Warehouses store disaster relief goods or military supplies. The Philippine Coast Guard leads, establishing radar-equipped outposts to monitor the Bashi Channel. This buildup is a long-term investment in resilience and security. In peace, it supports the local economy. In crisis, it becomes a robust military network. Batanes is becoming a hardened dual-use fortress, subtly enhancing security without overt provocation. The islands are ready for any contingency. The strategic buildup reaches the Philippines' northernmost points, Itbayat and Mavulis. Itbayat, closer to Taiwan than Luzon, is getting new naval and coast guard facilities. Officially for disaster response, these outposts have clear military utility. They provide a persistent presence deep in the Luzon Strait, ideal for sensors and rapid response units. Mavulis Island, uninhabited and remote, now hosts a military shelter and a fisherman's refuge. Raising the Philippine flag here is a powerful assertion of sovereignty. Even a small outpost serves as a tripwire and a sovereign marker at the gateway between the Pacific and South China Sea. The strategy is layered defense, a network of distributed outposts, not just a single strongpoint. These facilities ensure a Philippine presence up to the maritime border, complicating any adversary's plans. Every inch of territory is monitored and defended. These lonely outposts are the silent guardians of the nation's northern frontier. They stand watch over turbulent seas. The message: the Philippines will not yield its northern edge. The Bashi Channel between Batanes and Taiwan is a critical maritime choke point. It's a superhighway for naval forces and global shipping. For China, it's the gateway for its southern fleet to the Pacific. Control of the channel is a strategic vulnerability for Beijing. In conflict, blocking the Bashi Channel could bottle up China's navy and disrupt global trade. The channel is vital for energy supplies and container ships to Japan, South Korea, and Taiwan. Any disruption would trigger global supply chain chaos. Ensuring freedom of navigation here is a core U.S. and allied interest. By partnering with the Philippines, the U.S. strengthens its ability to keep this waterway open. The fate of the Bashi Channel could determine the Indo-Pacific's balance of power. Batanes is the key. The focus on Batanes marks a major shift in Philippine defense policy. For years, Manila's main concern was the West Philippine Sea and China's gray zone tactics. The northern border with Taiwan was an afterthought, until now. President Marcos Jr. has adopted a holistic view. Threats in the South China Sea and Taiwan Strait are linked. A Taiwan conflict would devastate the Philippines, triggering a refugee crisis and threatening Filipino workers in Taiwan. Preventing or preparing for such a conflict is now a top priority. New defense agreements with the U.S., especially EDCA, grant access to sites in northern Luzon. These sites allow pre-positioning of equipment and joint training, focusing on Taiwan contingencies. The Philippines hasn't abandoned the South China Sea but now fights on two fronts. This comprehensive approach makes the country a pivotal Indo-Pacific player. No longer just a victim of Chinese coercion, the Philippines is now a proactive security partner. Its strategic value to the U.S. and allies has never been higher. The pivot north is complete. From Beijing's perspective, Batanes' militarization is deeply alarming. China sees the U.S.-Philippines alliance and new infrastructure near Taiwan as provocative. Chinese officials warn Manila against being a pawn in America's game. Beijing frames the U.S. as an external meddler, trying to encircle China. The fortification of Batanes is seen as a dagger aimed at China's ambitions for Taiwan and the Bashi Channel. China responds with diplomatic pressure, military intimidation, and economic incentives. The presence of U.S.-accessible facilities complicates any move against Taiwan. The dragon's gaze is now fixed on Batanes. The Philippines now walks a perilous tightrope. It must manage daily Chinese pressure in the West Philippine Sea and prepare for a possible Taiwan conflict. The armed forces face daunting logistical and modernization challenges. Limited resources must now cover two major fronts. The government must justify its U.S. pivot to a wary public, balancing self-defense with a desire for peace. Yet this dual-front challenge is also an opportunity. By making itself indispensable to both the South China Sea and Taiwan Strait, the Philippines increases its strategic value. This can bring more military aid, technology, and diplomatic support. Manila is leveraging its geography to punch above its weight. The Philippines is no longer just an object in the great power game. It's becoming a crucial player, with the fate of the region in the balance.